Inside Michigan Football is presented by Meyer. And the Wolverines rush over to celebrate with their fans and Paul Bunyan. They get the job done here in East Lansing to hang on to state bragging rights. Happy Wolverine locker room. You were in there. You enjoyed yourself, didn't you?
I did. Little delayed getting down. The coaches went down before me, so I got stuck in the Michigan locker room, which is never a bad thing. And especially after a win like this, you could see the passion, you could hear the energy and the emotion that these guys played with. Wasn't a perfect game, but they were obviously celebrating it in the locker room, and it was a lot of fun.
Sharon said, play with emotion, not emotional, and it showed on the field on Saturday night. And let's take a look back at it starting in the first half. Wolverines opened defensively with a 3-and-out. It was a third down stop, a punch out by Brandon Hillman, a fumble recovery by Jimmy Roller. We'll say his name a lot tonight.
We will, and we'll see him on Jansen Vision quite a bit. But Jimmy had maybe the game of his life to this point. But there's still more left out there, and Jimmy was all over the field to be able to come away and force them. You and I talked about it during the game about how good Michigan State was at the beginning of games. To force them 3-and-out with a turnover was huge.
So Wolverines, their first possession, a decisive throw there from Bryce Underwood to Donovan McCulley. They get a third down conversion and then a fourth down conversion. And sometimes plays like this one are underrated. This is a 2nd and goal from the 3, and Bryce decides to throw it away. And this is trying to keep the ball out of harm's way.
Yeah, and we've heard this over the years. Michigan players say, nail it or sail it. There was nowhere he could go with this ball, so he just sailed it out of the back of the end zone.
3-0 after a Dominic Zavada field goal. The defense gets another 3-and-out. It's their third 3-and-out. And it was the job of the secondary, as Aiden Childs had no one to throw to.
Whether you're talking about Jaden Sanders, Jair Hill may have also had the game of his career. Zeke Berry was really good. They did a great job of sticking with a very talented group of receivers.
All right, this Michigan possession, a pass interference on MSU, and the Wolverines got something going. Then a reverse to Samaj Morgan. Wasn't a big gainer, but this setup, Jordan Marshall started to get involved in the run game. A couple of runs here for Michigan in Spartan territory.
Yeah, that 1-2 punch of Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall. I mean, both guys over 100 yards. It was, both have a little bit of a different skill set, and it's really hard for defenses to zero in on both of them when both of them get going.
And here's Haynes on a great play call, a throwback screen on third down that had Michigan knocking on the door, and it sets up our first Jansen Vision, Michigan and Michigan State. It's 3-0.
And how many times today did I talk about Max Bredesen and Jalen Hoffman pulling? This is the case here. They put Jalen Hoffman in motion first. He's going to lead things down the field. He's going to get a key block down here. Max Bredesen. You're going to watch as this player, this is the one that Bryce is reading. As he comes upfield, Max has to avoid him. If he blocks him, he's going to knock him right into where Bryce is going. So he avoids him. I'm going to let this play go just a little bit. But watch this player as he comes upfield. That's who Bryce's eyes are on right now. As soon as he crashes down, you see Max bubble around. That's where he decides to keep it. Couple of key blocks by both of those guys gets him into the end zone.
And just walled it off. So Michigan's defense, they go right back to Jansen Vision for this play.
And it's the Jimmy Roller sack. And I want to highlight, you got TJ Metcalf on the end of the line of scrimmage right here. Looks like he's going to be man-to-man coverage right here, but he's not because he's backed up. And this is where offensive tackles really got to keep their eyes on. Is there somebody piggybacking them? This tackle gets distracted, and all of a sudden, he thinks he's got Jimmy Roller, but he sees TJ coming off. He comes off. There's nobody to block Jimmy, and he comes in for the sack. And, I mean, this is the start of the game. Fumble recovery and a sack. Jimmy had a great day.
Michigan State gets something going. This huge run by Mekhi Frazier, 49 yards. That led to an MSU touchdown, and that was the first time they showed some life.
Yeah, it was. And, I mean, this wasn't a perfect game. It wasn't a perfect game by the defense. The defense played dominant for most of the game, and you're at some point give up some plays.
So Michigan has a third ensuing possession. It's 10-7, and this ball gets sailed over Bryce Underwood's head. Stuff can happen, and this is a mistake that avoidable.
It is.
At least Bryce fell on it.
Yeah, he fell on it, and it's you don't want it to have it happen. I'd rather have Bryce under center in this situation. It's really hard for a center to come off the ball the way he's going to need to and do a shotgun snap as well.
But the defense forces another 3 and out. When they had to make plays, they did.
They did, and they stepped up, and it's really about responding in this game. Whether the offense had to respond, defense did it all game long.
All right, hidden yardage. There were some hidden yardage issues in this game. Fair catches inside the 10. On the kickoff.
Well, Michigan had a great advantage because there was a 15-yard penalty, backed up the kickoff, and Andrew Marsh fair caught it. Ball might have gone out of bounds. He probably could have returned it better than when they were going to get it to 25, and it was also Samaj Morgan with the fair catch on the 4-yard line.
Your old coach, Lloyd Carr, used to say football's not a game of perfect stuff that they can work on. Spartans in a 2-minute drill late, and the defense with some good coverage downfield. Derek Moore gets a sack. And we'll go to halftime with Michigan leading 10-7.
Yeah, I mean, that secondary, whether it was the start of the game, that's really what set the tone. I felt like they got into a really good rhythm, and it was, Marsh, their leading receiver, only had 4 yards after catch. That was really big because it was catch and tackle right away.
At this point in the game, Michigan's defense had given up 1 run for 49 yards, 32 other plays netted 54 yards for the Spartans. Later, we'll go inside the Michigan locker room, but we'll take a look at the second half straight ahead here on Inside Michigan Football. Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by Meijer, presenting sponsor of the 2025 Michigan football season and proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. And by Michigan Medicine. There's a difference between an answer and a Michigan answer. To find your Michigan answer, visit michigananswers.com.
As a group, we take pride in defense, and no matter what situation we're in, we take pride in being on the field. So we're always going to show that, no matter a turnover, it doesn't matter if they score, whatever. We love being on the field, so we're going to show that every play.
Back here on Inside Michigan Football, we go to the second half, and Michigan came out running the ball, starting with a Justice Haynes 20-yard run.
Yeah, I mean, we heard it at halftime. It was, hey, you got to strain on your blocks. You got to finish blocks. That's what they did. When you finish your blocks, you're going to get some of those big moments.
All right, we go to Jansen Vision for the second snap of the second half.
And this is a 28-yard run. You also don't get big runs without your receivers blocking. Goody is the one that's coming in motion here. He's going to take the corner. Does a great job of walling him off, but it's also your right side. You get Jake Warnera is going to pull, and he takes the first guy that's in the hole. This is where Sprague has to realize, I may have to bubble around him. He does. He leads it up here, and that's what leads to the 28-yard run. Great job by these guys of being able to get up in the hole, and as soon as you get Justice into the secondary, you got good things happening.
That put him over 100 yards. 7 of 8 Michigan's games so far this year, the starting running back has gone over 100 yards. Haynes bounces it outside on a 3rd down and 3 for a first down, and then 2nd and goal from the 5, Justice Haynes, a 5-yard touchdown run. That 73-yard drive, 68 of it on the ground, the other 5 yards penalties.
It was beautiful. It really was. To be able to start the second half and set the tone for this entire team with a touchdown, but the way that they did it on the ground was great.
And then the defense, there is back-to-back throwaways for Michigan State because of the coverage downfield. The pass rush gets to Aiden Childs, and he just had to sail the ball out of bounds.
I thought we might be able to get to Aiden Childs a little bit earlier, but when your secondary is doing what they do downfield and coverage, you're able to, pursuit is eventually going to get home.
Okay, so we talked about some of the hidden yardage. This is a huge play in this game. Michigan goes 3 and out, but here is special teams getting some yardage back with a 67-yard punt from Hudson Hollenbeck.
And it's the coverage team also being able to get down there and be in position to down it. Now this one died on the 3-yard line, so it didn't take rocket scientists to be able to figure that one out, but they're in position in case it kept rolling.
And the defense then rewards the offense and special teams by getting a 3 and out and setting up the offense with good field position.
And when your offense came out firing in the second half, but they had been somewhat inconsistent, field position was a big part of this game.
All right, so from the 48, Michigan starts their drive. They get this 3rd down run from Haynes, and that sets up when you have play action and they got to respect your run. Andrew Marsh for 27 yards, and Michigan was inside the red zone.
I really like the way that Andrew is adjusting the balls in the air, the way that he is finding things downfield, and when he has the ball in his hands, when he makes the catch, he's got a good feel for being able to spin inside and away from where the pursuit is coming.
So Michigan goes up 24-7. Justice Haynes, a 14-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, I mean, This is him at his best, right? He's able to bounce it outside and just simply run away from the defense.
Got to give the Spartans credit. They wouldn't go away. Nick Marsh, this was ruled out of bounds at the 1 yard line. They eventually would score. That made it 24-13, but 5.5 minutes went off the clock on that drive.
It was, and time at this point starts to become a major issue.
Okay, so 4th down stops at the end of this game by the defense made a difference. We'll start with this one, and that man, number 30 from the linebacking core.
Yeah, and I want you to watch. We've got man coverage. We got man coverage up here. We got man coverage over here, which also means then Jimmy Rolder, as this guy comes in motion, he's got man coverage on him as well. He reads it right from the get-go. He's going to have a lot of trash to get through as it starts to get congested in here. He's got to make sure to get over here, and he does a great job and takes a great angle to be able to be in position to bat this ball down. That moment right there, a couple of big 4th down stops for Jimmy Rolder, but that one right there was beautiful.
Yeah, and here's the second 4th down stop. This is on Spartans go hurry up here. Michigan lines up late, and he makes another play on this 4th down.
He does, and I'm going to have to look at this one again a little bit more, because I actually believe, and we've talked about this, Michigan's defense hasn't been getting lined up. Other teams have been using it to their advantage. Michigan State thought they would, and I think it confused the offensive line. They didn't know where they were firing.
So just trying to put the game away, Jordan Marshall with some tough yards here to move the chains, and that sets up the game-sealing run by number 23, and this puts him over 100 yards, 2 backs over 100 yards for Michigan.
Yeah, we've learned it all season long, but he's a battering ram in the 4th quarter when you need 3 or 4 yards of pop, and you know it's going to be a loaded box. Jordan Marshall is the guy that you want to hand the ball to.
We'll hear from the head coach, Sharon Moore, next here on Inside Michigan Football.
It just feels good to, especially come out here, with this being my last time, playing this game and also being in the stadium and going against them. It just feels good to, keep ball home and, just going forward. Hope we stay that way.
Our conversation with the coach is brought to you by Meyer.
Coach, let's just start with an easy one. How's it feel?
I can't even tell you. Excited, man. Excited for a win in the Big Ten, especially against your rival. We got everything they had, and I thought our kids played super hard, super physical. You get to game, whatever this is, and you're at this point. You just want to win, right? And so sometimes it's sloppy, sometimes it's not exactly how you want it, but it's better be correcting it on the other side of a win.
So let's start with practice this week. What was some of the points of emphasis, and then did you see it on the field?
Yeah, I thought the physicality for sure. We even took some things back a little bit, trying to keep them fresher for the game, and I thought defensively the guys played hard. We let the one run out, a couple of them, and it was just contain responsibilities, and we got those corrected and held them to some yards, and then offensively, run the football was a huge piece for us. We thought we did that really well. It was physical, and it was kind of the type of game it needed to be. Melt the clock down a little bit, and you'd love to get Bryce going a little bit more, and we did it some, but we won the game. That was the most important thing.
So let's start on defense, and let's start with Jimmy Rolder. I mean, it had to be a career game for him. It was the fumble recovery. It was the 4th down stop. It was passes defended. What'd you see from him from your perspective?
He's an animal, man. He's playing at an elite level right now, at an All-American level, a Butkus Award level, like everything you think. I mean, 10 tackles, I think 2 tackles for loss, a sack, a forced, fumble recovery, like this, unbelievable. So proud of him.
And then the secondary as well. I mean, it started off, other than the pass to Andrew Marsh or to Marsh down there on the goal line, the secondary played their butts off.
Yeah, they played really good. The one play to Marsh was the one that we just didn't reroute, and we didn't get the help we needed on that, but I thought overall they played really well.
I know throughout the week there was an emphasis on how the offensive line played. Yeah. Your evaluation?
Yeah, I mean, when you rush for 200-something yards and 2 backs over 100 yards, it's really good. I'm really proud of them. Really proud of Coach Newsome, how he's strained with them and gotten better, and it's where you want him to be, So we got stuff to clean it up, as you hear us celebrating back there, and we'll get better.
In the second half, what was said at halftime? What were some of the adjustments you made, because it was 20 yards, 28 yards, and then we saw obviously the big touchdown by Jordan Marshall at the end of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that we did, we came back to some plays that we thought would work, some spread runs, some things we thought would hit, and they did. Again, Coach Newsome, the run game crew, Coach Lindsey did an outstanding job of organizing that, and they hit when we needed them to.
And I know the special teams wasn't wasn't necessarily the star of the show in the first half, but the second half, pin him inside the 5-yard line. How big was that moment, and how much did that shift the momentum of the game?
Yeah, there's some things in special teams we got to fix with our return game, but the punting game, I thought Hudson Hollenbeck had his best game. He changed the field position in the game a lot and really put our defense in a much better position. So really proud of him because he was having some struggles, throughout the year, and he really stepped up in a huge way in this game.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Go Blue.
Our Elrose Steel Ironman is linebacker Jimmy Rolder. The junior wreaked havoc on the Spartan offense, starting with a first possession fumble recovery. He finished with a team-high 10 tackles, 2 for loss, in a dominant team effort.
Huge win, huge. We came in, it was just another game for us, but like Michigan State, we needed that win big. And, came out, played hard, everyone played hard, and, in the end, we came out victorious, so it was awesome.
You had 10 tackles, 9 solo, and you were pretty much just a menace for that team today. Just tell me about you personally, how you prep for this game and what it means to come out and shine the way you did.
I just prepped like any other week. Every game, just pushing myself during the week, trying to make the game easy as possible for myself, and, just playing hard, playing for my teammates, playing for my coaches, and, yeah, great win.
All right, you've been involved in a few of these Paul Bunyan games. What's it feel like when you get to pass the bearded wonder around a little bit and celebrate with it?
It never gets old. Since I've been here, we've won every single time, and it's a great feeling.
The running game also deserves its plaudits. Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall both went over the century mark, combining for 262 yards. Michigan's 276, the most versus MSU since 1994.
I think it just shows to the volumes that our offense can do. We can do a plethora of things, whether it's throwing the ball, running the ball. I feel like we're very dynamic. We tell ourselves all the time we want to be the best offense in the country. That's the standard. And so we just got to continue to keep working, improving on the things that we need to improve on, and continue to grow. But I think that's really a special, that's something special, especially being in a rivalry game. We take a lot of pride in that. But we got to continue to keep growing too as well.
Hands it off to Justice Haynes, who's going to bounce it outside to the 10, to the 5. Justice Haynes will stroll into the end zone. His second touchdown of the game.
We talked about it all week. Urgency, urgency, urgency. That was the theme of the week. Have urgency. I think around the building everyone was up. And just their team, they came out, Michigan State, they came out playing physical. And we knew we had to match that physicality. And we knew it was going to be a 4-quarter fight, and that's what it was. That's what it's always going to be in the rivalry. Records don't matter. Nothing matters about the 11 people on that field.
Second time this year, you and Jordan both went over 100. I know you're proud of your performance, but what's it make you feel like when you both get to hit that triple-digit mark?
Oh, it's awesome. I'm so proud of that kid. Jordan just battling all he does. Shows up, worked every day. Love that kid to death. He's like a little brother to me. The way he just accepted me in here and just the culture in the room that we have is so special. Starting top with TA and Freddie J, carrying on to us running backs. It's a special room. And we just want to be the best room in the country, period. Not just the best running back room, but you look around the country, you shouldn't be able to tell the leader in our room or the quote-unquote guy. We got guys.
Michigan has now won 4 straight in the series, outscoring the Spartans 133-44 during that stretch, cementing their status as the power broker in this long-standing relationship. For Inside Michigan Football, I'm Ed Kingerski.
I said the victors! 1, 2, you know what to do! Hail to the victors, hail to the conquering heroes, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best! Hail to the victors, hail to the conquering heroes, hail to Michigan, the champions of the world. Go Blue! Who's got it better than us?
It feels great, It is my first time, got to experience it. 2 teams that really just don't like each other, but it's a state championship. We talked about it all week. This has a lot of tradition behind it, so to get the dub, something that we're really going to enjoy these next 24 hours and then get ready for the next week.
So the Wolverines with Purdue next Saturday night game at the Big House. Goal is to get to that Ohio State game with a chance to make the college football playoff, but you got to take care of business.
Yeah, we've been talking about it since they came back from USC. It's playoffs from here on out. You got to win, and you got a shot to get in.
The Wolverines will look back at that game with the Boilermakers next week here on Inside Michigan Football. So long. Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by Meijer, presenting sponsor of the 2025 Michigan football season and proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest.